I was tired after my chemotherapy session, but my son's wife still handed me a mop and said, "This floor won't clean itself, Grandma." When I collapsed, she rolled her eyes and took a video. The video she took was later used in a way she never saw coming. I didn't expect life to get harder at 65. Not after everything I'd already survived. Raising 3 kids alone, losing my husband to a heart attack at 47, teaching in public schools for over 3 decades. I thought I'd finally get to rest. Maybe see a bit of the country. Spend time with my grandkids. Nothing fancy. Just peace. Then came the cancer. Stage 3 breast cancer. Aggressive. I caught it late because I hadn't been to a doctor in a couple years. Couldn't afford to. Retirement checks barely covered rent and groceries. Once chemo started, I had to quit my part-time job at the library. Everything spiraled. Eric, my middle son, was always the sweet one growing up. Quiet, thoughtful, never caused me a day of trouble. When he and Mallory got married, I had my concerns. She was sharp, too sharp. One of those women who always looked like she was selling something, even when she wasn't saying a word. Still, I kept my mouth shut. Eric loved her. That was enough. When I told him about my diagnosis, Eric offered their guest room. "Of course you'll stay with us," he said. "We're family." But from the moment I moved in, Mallory made me feel like an unpaid maid. She didn't even try to hide it. Day 1, I was barely unpacked when she handed me a chore list. Yes, a list, and said, "We'll all need to pitch in more with you staying here." I hadn't even started chemo yet. I thought maybe I could earn my keep. I didn't want to be a burden. I folded laundry, unloaded the dishwasher, made beds. But once treatments began, it got harder. Much harder. Chemo isn't just nausea. It's bone-deep exhaustion, like your body weighs 1,000 pounds and your skin hurts just from breathing. Still, Mallory didn't let up. If anything, she got worse. One day, I was lying on the couch, still hooked to the plastic port in my chest, and she came in with a garbage bag in one hand and her phone in the other. She looked me up and down and said, "Since you're not busy, can you take this out?" I didn't answer right away. I was just trying to breathe. That's when she muttered, "God, I wish people appreciated how hard I work around here." It was like that every day. Tiny jabs. Quiet digs. If I ate a yogurt, she'd say, "Hope you left some for the kids." If I forgot to wipe the stove, she'd post a picture to her friends. "Guess who's too weak to clean up after soup?" Then came the day everything changed. It was a Monday, my 3rd week of chemo. The nurse had warned me it would be the roughest stretch. I barely remember coming through the front door. I was shaking. The cold from outside felt like knives on my skin. I leaned against the counter just to stay upright. Mallory didn't even look up from her phone. "Finally," she said. "This floor is gross. Can you mop it before the kids get home?"
I blinkser her.
"I really don't feel." She tossed the mop toward me. "We all don't feel great, Mary." I wanted to scream. Instead, I picked up the mop. Tried to do just one corner of the kitchen. That's all I remember. I must have blacked out mid-swipe. My knees buckled. I hit the floor hard. Next thing I knew, I was on my back, my vision fuzzy. I heard her voice, bored and irritated. "You're seriously doing this now?" Then the phone click. She took a video. Not a phone call to 911. Not a glass of water. Just her voice, fake concerned. "Oh no, Grandma's down. Someone alert the media." I couldn't speak. My body was locked up, but I heard her laughter. Later, when Eric got home, she told him I fainted dramatically and probably didn't eat enough. He didn't ask me. He didn't check on me. He just nodded and said, "She just pushed herself too hard." That's when I knew he wasn't going to protect me. So I protected myself. A week later, she left her phone on the kitchen island, unlocked. Notifications kept pinging from her group chat with her influencer friends, screenshots of other people, gossip, snide comments. I opened her camera roll. Found the video of me on the floor. I watched it once. Then I sent it to myself. That was the beginning. I didn't know exactly what I would do with it yet, but I knew I wasn't just going to survive this. I was going to take my power back. And Mallory, she had no idea what was coming. After I sent the video to myself, I started noticing more. I guess I'd been too focused on staying alive before, but once I decided to fight back, I saw everything with clear eyes. Mallory was all about appearances. Every corner of her life was staged for likes, her meals, her outfits, even her parenting. She had a small following online. Not huge, but enough to get free products and do some momfluencer posts. She called it brand work. I called it lying. She'd post about home-cooked meals she didn't make, crafts she didn't help with, and caring for her sick mother-in-law, like it was some noble mission instead of a daily humiliation campaign. One post had a picture of me sitting in the living room with a blanket on, eyes half closed from chemo fatigue. The caption, "It's hard being a caregiver, but love makes it worth it," 2 hearts folded hands.
Hundreds of likes.
People commenting things like, "You're such an angel," and "What a strong woman." I felt sick. That's when I started keeping notes. I saved screenshots, captured posts, collected receipts, literal ones too. Like the day she used Eric's debit card to buy $600 worth of clothing, then told him it was groceries. I still wasn't sure what I'd do. I didn't want to hurt Eric or the kids. But Mallory? She was digging her own grave. The next big crack came 2 months later. I had just come home from another round of chemo. My white blood cell count was dangerously low, and the doctor told me to avoid crowds and be careful about infections. I told Mallory. Her response? "Then stay in your room." "I'm hosting book club tonight." Book club was a joke. It was wine and gossip with her friends, none of whom actually read the book. That night, I stayed in my room like she asked. But around 9 p.m., one of her friends opened the wrong door while looking for the bathroom, walked right into my room and screamed, "Oh my God, there's an old lady in here." Mallory burst out laughing. "That's just my MIL. Don't mind her. She's like a houseplant. Just sits there." Everyone laughed. They didn't see me behind the cracked door, but I saw all of them. That's when I stopped caring about being nice. A week later, I got a call from an old student of mine, now an attorney. He'd seen one of Mallory's caregiver posts because someone had reshared it on Facebook. He called to check in on me. When I told him what was really going on, he got quiet. Then he said, "Depending on how she's using your image, that might be actionable." I didn't say yes right away. I needed time, but I asked questions, researched, learned. Meanwhile, Mallory started slipping. She got careless. One day, she went on a rant about how exhausted she was having to do everything while I just sat around. But she said it within earshot of Eric. I watched him pause. Something flickered in his face.
Doubt.
And I leaned into it. I started being more vocal, not rude, just honest. When Eric asked how my day was, I'd say, "Same as usual. Mopped the floor after chemo." I didn't have to lie. The truth was enough. Then came the moment I knew I had her. She was applying for a sponsorship deal with a home care company. A big one. She needed a video that showed her caring for her ailing mother-in-law. She asked me to be in it. Had the nerve to say, "If you could cry a little, that'd be perfect." I looked her in the eye and said, "I'll do it." But what she didn't know was that I already had her worst video saved. And someone else had it too.
My former student had a copy.
So did a reporter friend from a local station. I wasn't going public yet, but I was ready. Mallory thought she was playing a part, but the curtain was about to fall. I agreed to help her with the video. We filmed in the kitchen, the same kitchen where she'd tossed me a mop just months earlier. She positioned the camera just right, with natural light coming in through the window, and told me, "Just sit there, look tired, and maybe say something like, 'I don't know what I'd do without Mallory.'" She even brought me tea. First time she'd ever done that. The performance was good. She knew how to turn on the charm for the camera. In the video, she gently touched my shoulder, called me Mama Mary, and said, "Caring for her is the hardest but most rewarding thing I've ever done." I repeated the line she gave me. I smiled. I said what she needed. And while we filmed, I thought about how fake that moment was. But I also realized I didn't need to destroy her just yet. I needed to let her climb higher first. She submitted the video. Got the brand deal, $4,000 plus product. She bragged to her followers. To Eric. Even posted a TikTok with clips from our shoot captioned, "This is what love looks like." The comments were full of crying emojis and praise. You're an angel. This is the content that matters. Where do I donate? And then a woman from a caregiving nonprofit shared it. That's when it exploded. The company who sponsored her ran a campaign around the video, used it in ads, pushed it hard. And one night, while I was scrolling through their Facebook page, I saw it. My face, my body, my illness used in an ad.
But not just that.
There was a direct quote beneath it. "I feel safe in her hands." I never said that. That's when I knew. They didn't just lie. They edited me. My old student, now working in elder law, saw the post too. He called me and said, "Mary, I can take this to court. This is unauthorized commercial use of your image, and they're misrepresenting medical care." But I wasn't ready to sue yet. Not just for money. I wanted the world to see who she really was. So I made a quiet call to the local TV station. I gave them the original video, the one she filmed of me collapsed on the floor. I gave them timestamps. I gave them copies of the Instagram story, the screenshots, and the staged caregiver clips. I gave them the before and after. Real and fake. They didn't air it right away. They did their homework. Verified everything. Reached out to the brand for comment. Then one afternoon, Mallory came storming into the kitchen, her face pale. She'd just gotten a call. "Did you talk to someone?" she asked. I looked her dead in the eye. Yes. She lost it, screaming, accusing, threatening to call the police, telling Eric I was senile, unstable. But Eric finally looked at her differently. He didn't say anything that night, just left the room. A week later, the story aired. Not on national TV, but it went viral in Minnesota. The dark side of caregiving. When the camera lies, they blurred my face, at my request. But Mallory? Front and center. The segment showed clips from her social media posts, the original video of me on the floor, and the contrast with the Loving Caregiver campaign. It was brutal. The brand dropped her immediately. People began commenting on her posts, demanding refunds, calling her out. But the worst part for her? She couldn't say I was lying, because everything was on video. After the news story aired, everything changed. Mallory tried to spin it, of course. She posted a teary apology video on Instagram, saying she was deeply misunderstood and that the editing misrepresented her intentions. But people weren't buying it. Not this time. Brands pulled out. Local moms unfollowed her in droves. Comments poured in, people demanding she donate her influencer money, people asking how she could treat an elderly cancer patient like a prop. She turned off comments. Then she deleted the video. Then her whole account. The sponsorships dried up. So did the freebies. No more yoga mats in the mail. No more PR boxes of granola. No more skin serums. She went from someone who thought she'd become a brand to someone who couldn't even show her face at PDA meetings. That would have been enough for some people. But not for me. I wasn't done. 2 weeks after the fallout, I had my lawyer, my old student, file a civil suit. Unauthorized use of my image. Emotional distress. Financial exploitation. Mallory laughed when she got served. "I didn't make any real money off that," she snapped at Eric. "It's not like I cashed in." But she had. And now the paper trail mattered. The brand had paid her directly. She'd used my name, my condition, my suffering to build an image and cash in on it. And the moment she used my face in an ad without consent, that was her mistake. The suit moved quickly, probably because the companies she worked with wanted to distance themselves. They settled fast, out of court, low 6 figures. Enough to pay off my remaining medical debt. Enough for me to move out. I left the house one Saturday morning without saying much. I didn't want drama, just closure. Eric helped me pack the car. "I'm sorry, Ma," he said quietly. "I should have seen it." I nodded. I didn't say it's okay. Because it wasn't. But I said, Thank you for helping me leave.
And I meant it.
I moved into a small apartment just outside St. Paul. Nothing fancy, but it was mine.
Clean.
Quiet. Safe. A friend from church helped me set it up. I started sleeping through the night again. The chemo ended. I started to heal for real this time. Mallory, meanwhile, lost her glow. She tried to restart her influencer account under a new name. It got reported. She applied for jobs, none stuck. People didn't forget. Some moms in the area even started a Facebook thread about warning other local schools if she tried to volunteer. Eric stayed married to her for a little while. But the distance between them grew. Then, last spring, he filed for divorce. I found out when he called me. She never really loved anyone but herself, he said. I didn't say anything for a moment. Then I told him, "You're a good father, Eric. You always were. Just don't let anyone make you forget that again." We're rebuilding now. Slowly. I see the kids once a week. I bring cookies. I sit on the porch and watch them play. Sometimes, when I look back on everything, I feel grief. Not just for what I went through, but for how invisible I became. For how easily someone I called family turned me into background noise. But I don't feel powerless anymore. Because in the end, she gave me the very tool I needed to destroy her. She filmed my pain, and I used it to take everything back.